Before we jump in, let me set the stage for today's episode. This isn't a surface level conversation. We're getting into real world insights, what actually works, what doesn't, and how to apply what you hear today in a practical way, whether you're building a business, a brand, or your next opportunity. And I want you to stay with me until the very end because I'm offering a free bonus specifically for listeners who finish the episode. Something that can help you skip the line and move faster if being on this show is something you've been thinking about. All right, let's get into today's conversation. Welcome to the session on Beyond AdSense, monetization funnel strategies to grow revenue with a small audience using YouTube podcasting. I'm Dr. Christopher Liu, founder and CEO of the Financial Freedom Podcast. This is a re-recording of one of the speeches that I gave this past weekend in Orlando, Florida at PodFest 2026. If you're listening out there, shout out to PodFest, Chris, Wendy, Brandt, Andrew Weiss, all the organizers of PodFest for giving me the chance to come on the stage and present this to my audience. Quick disclaimer, everything here is for educational purposes only. It's based on my own experiences. Some of the tactics and strategies that work for me may not work for you and vice versa. There was a poll. The majority of the audience and listeners are looking for one, how to land brand deals and sponsorship opportunities. And second is how do you grow a scale and how you actually monetize on YouTube. If you're starting out as a beginning podcaster or just starting out your brand, these tools, tactics, and strategies will save you months to years off your time. If you're more advanced, this will help you to make your income more robust, scalable, more predictable. We're going to talk about debunking the myths around AdSense, why relying solely on ads is a highly unpredictable recipe for burnout. We're going to talk about how to unlock monetization, predictable revenue with high ticket offers, positioning your content strategically as an authority in a particular niche so that you can build a brand that commands premium rates. Once you do that, then we can start to talk about brand strategic partnerships, what advertisers and sponsors are looking for, and finally, how to use YouTube podcasting as a top of funnel engine as opposed to a entertainment channel. Why do I focus on YouTube podcasting? YouTube, because it's the number 2 search engine behind Google, which Google owns. Second, the majority of attention is moving towards short form video. If you can learn how to use video, and the number of podcast listeners is growing exponentially. So it's a growing field. If you're seeking to leverage your expertise, influence, podcasting is the way to go. Lastly, I'm going to talk to you about the exact framework that I teach my physician clients on how to make $5,000 in a single weekend with only 1,000 subscribers, the exact framework. If you're listening to this, be sure to hit the comment, subscribe on YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Apple, leave a 5-star review. It really helps with the algorithms. This talk is designed for those individuals out there listening with a specific authority, such as a coach, consultant, speaker, author, or people with specific niche expertise that requires a degree, education, training, doctor, lawyer, dentist, accountants, all these people out there you're listening who want to convert their expertise into sellable content and a reliable inbound client demand. I work with a lot of doctors that want to get out of medicine and want to use their skills to cross transfer them into coaching, consulting, speaking. It's also designed for podcasters, YouTube, and audio who want to transition into the new attention economy where all the attention is going, tap into YouTube's discovery engine, and those looking to build a profitable, robust content ecosystem. A little bit about me, if you haven't heard of me, I'm a physician by training, went to Baylor from medical school, went to Rice from Houston, Texas. At extremely early age, I was fascinated with financial independence, financial freedom. I looked up to guys like Elon Musk. Eventually, 2008 rolled around. I was able to strategically invest in severely undervalued assets across the Houston area. Over an 8-year period, invested my way to financial freedom, 38 years old. For the next 6 years, I spent the majority of my time coaching hundreds of doctors, speaking at conferences, working as a consultant for healthcare, IT, consulting, telemedicine. The majority of my time these days has been focused on running my six-figure YouTube media business that started out as a weekly podcast launched from my bedroom closet during March of 2020. Since then, we've grown to over 29,000 followers on YouTube. These numbers are a little bit outdated. YouTube is our number one lead magnet. I'm going to show you why. We are growing on LinkedIn, Instagram. So you're listening out there, subscribe to the podcast, newsletter, blog, go to our website, send us your email address. We love to connect with you. And stay till the very end because I have a very special offer just for the people listening out there as a reward for listening to the entire talk. My niche focused on physician clients, spoke for Concierge Med Today, Seek, Passive Income, White Code, wrote articles for Kevin MD, Doximity, MedPage Today. As the brand grew in scale, I transitioned from coaching and consulting into developing my six-figure media brand. We've spoken on VidFest, PodFest. We're also a top 10 host on Podmatch. Shout out to Alex Sanfilippo, founder and CEO of Podmatch, Alicia, Jesse, all the team. And Podmatch is essentially a Airbnb of podcasting matches hosts and guests together. Without this platform or service, we wouldn't have been able to scale as rapidly as we did. It streamlined the guest booking process. We're able to get the content out there. The affiliate link is in the show notes, so be sure to check that out as well. That's me in a nutshell. Let's get into the meat of the talk, the real truth behind social media platforms, advertising, sponsors, and why it's keeping creators broke. We're conditioned to believe that we have to be like Mr. Beast or Joe Rogan. We have to have millions of subscribers. But the reality is subscribers and views don't equal revenue. If you look at the average viewer of Mr. Beast or these big channels, a lot of them are fickle. They'll enjoy the videos, enjoy the entertainment. A lot of the revenue is on the back end from the brands and sponsors. But if you look at the loyal, raving fan base, a lot of them will just click on the video, watch it, be entertained, move on to the next one. Whereas a lot of physicians and influencers and creators, they are actually getting smart and leveraging YouTube to make a six-figure, seven-figure business. If you look at ads in terms of monetization lever, it's the weakest. Creators and influencers that have their own books, products, services, coaching programs, masterminds, communities outperform AdSense by a factor of 5 to 20 times. Who in the audience here has posted consistently, regularly, and even paid thousands of dollars for a marketing agency promising millions of followers? I've done it, I admit it, and wasted that money. They didn't deliver as promised, or you're posting religiously and after a week, it just flops. That's because social media platforms use artificial intelligence to control the algorithm to maximize advertising revenue for the platforms, giving creators pennies on the dollar. We need to get smarter. What if we flip the script? What if we use the tools of big tech to play our own game? The other is chasing virality. The next hottest trend kills consistency because you never know what's going to change. And these algorithms are changing so frequently that it's really hard to be consistent. Real money comes from ownership and control of your intellectual property. That is your email list, your podcast RSS feed, website, blog, newsletters, community, your funnels, masterminds. We should be focusing on that. Ads and sponsors are icing on the cake. Now we've unlocked this mind shift. Let's talk about how are we going to monetize our brands. That's through high ticket offers and positioning our content strategically as a authority in a specific niche. A lot of creators and influencers today with the advent of artificial intelligence, answer engine optimization, AI search are moving towards authority and expertise as opposed to virality. In the past, you could have an attractive woman or man post these photos and videos. You could go viral. They could make six figures. These days, algorithms with AI are now focused on giving authority and expertise. All you need to do is solve one painful problem. For example, there are tons of doctors on TikTok. They're known as TikTok doctors or Instagram doctors, each solving a specific problem. They are creating content funnels and not just posting randomly. A lot of social media are just people posting without specific intention. You want to create a funnel that educates and inspires and that causes them to subscribe, follow you. Ultimately, you want to move them onto your email list. As doctors, we love results, frameworks, we love the data, we want to see the evidence. And you want to use strategic calls to action. So, for example, I'm giving this webinar, this presentation. If you liked it, subscribe to my email list, follow our Apple and Spotify podcast, rate 5-star review. These are specific examples. And you can see examples throughout my podcast as well. From creator to strategic partner, let's talk about scaling through partnerships and how to not become a commodity and how to become a collaborator. Brands these days, once you're at a certain level, you have a website, you have traffic, you're getting revenue, you are making sales. Once you become a creator influencer, brands and sponsorships are going to start coming to you, pitching their products and services to get access to your audience. And at this point, they are less focused on impressions and more focused on outcomes, the brand fit, values, language, co-create, and storytelling. The influencers and creators that are going to do well in the next phase are those that can capture attention, capture hearts, and tell stories rather than just promote. We want to be omni-channel. A mindset shift is focused on being a single platform creator into a multi-channel media brand. That's how we can attract more partners in sponsorship. Once they reach out to you, how are they going to decide whether or not they really want to work for you? Let's talk about the non-subscriber metrics that drive big checks. You know, you may be thinking at this point, if subscriber counts and views don't matter, then what's the point of showing that? Subscribers and views matter to the extent that they give your channel visibility, authority, credibility, but those are lagging numbers and indicators. The real metrics that brand partners really look for are going to be these four metrics. First is the CPM, called the cost per 1,000 impressions. That's essentially how much do they have to pay or how in terms of reach your audience. That's reach. The second metric is called the click-through rates. Once someone sees that impression, how likely are they to click through to see content? That's a measure of audience engagement. Another metric that brands and sponsors look for is called the cost per click. Essentially, how much are they paying to click through to see that particular advertiser? Lastly is a cost per acquisition. This is a return on investment for brands. So that's what they look for. These are the back numbers that tell brand partners what's the real story. Subscribers and view counts are lagging. That's what they see, but these are the numbers that they want to see behind the scenes. What's fascinating about the day and age of artificial intelligence is AI and analytics and data can actually tell you the intel and strategy that can drive brand partnerships. It's all about audience quality over size, the depth, conversion evidence, DMs, comments, signups, emails, brand alignment, and credibility. A personal example is we get pitched a lot of brands and sponsorship deals. Quite frankly, a lot of them are scams. If you're listening out there, we know you're trying to scam the audience, but we always look for brand alignment and credibility and the same values and the same language. McDonald's and my brand would never get along, would never partner well. But we did have a sponsor last year, which is Heidi Health, recently raised a Series B venture capital round from Point 72 Stephen Cohen. We have great brand alignment and credibility, and it's been a great partnership. I want to see that you've got great distribution leverage. You've got channels, you got followers, you got activity, not just a single platform. That's for them, and that's also for you. You don't want to be a single platform creator, because if that platform goes down, you're SOL. You can see what happened to TikTok, or your channel gets shut down. You want to be omni-channel, omnipresent. It's all about leveraging your positioning of your brand to unlock higher perception of value. With higher perception, with higher value, you can set your pricing power. You are no longer subjected to an employer salary cap. For physicians, your worth is no longer determined by a hospital or an insurance company. You can now charge what you're worth. You can charge what the market is willing to pay. Let's talk about high ticket offers. What is a high ticket offer? A high ticket offer is something that you can package. It could be a course, group coaching, mastermind, a community, something that you can charge high ticket for, usually in the thousands of dollars of range. For a lot of doctors, that's 5,000, 10,000. For others, it could be something that is high ticket. I'm going to show you later on how to structure this and how to present your high ticket offer, but you want to have the perceived value. Someone wants to know that they're getting the value for their money, or the value that they're worth. You want to position your high ticket offer. For example, if it's $5,000, they're getting $50,000 worth of value. So that's how you refine perception. You do this by another strategy called bundling. You don't just sell the group coaching or the mastermind, you sell a lot of things that come along with it. For example, in my high ticket offer, I have 4 books, I have courses, I have coaching, I have access to me, I have a community, events, retreats. When you bundle them together, increases the perception of higher value. This allows you to reframe from being just a creator to someone that's actually a leader in a specific niche. You want to be the go-to person for that specific problem. Clarity beats quantity. Once you find your tribe, monetization opportunities start to follow you, and always be in a constant state of refinement so that you have options. Let's talk about YouTube in the top of funnel blueprint. Earlier on, I mentioned how I have a good friend and colleague, Dave Bartlett. He has a YouTube channel. He's a financial planner and advisor. He started his YouTube channel with less than 1,000 subscribers, but at that point, he was making 5 to 6 figures. He's since scaled his financial practice to 6 to 7 figures using YouTube, using the strategies I'm discussing today. Earlier on, before he was on YouTube, he was getting a lot of inbound leads and calls. A lot of them were wishy-washy. So either he would be unable to close a sale, or they would not show up for their appointments, or they would him with the same question. He repeatedly found himself with these low value clients, wasting his time answering the same questions over and over. He got smarter. He used YouTube. He went on there, talked about his content, his expertise, answered specific questions. He put the top 10 questions that clients may ask of him before starting to work with him. This acted as a screening tool, as an automation tool. And at the end of each video, he would invite the clients or viewers and listeners to book a call with him. So if they didn't book a call with him, it was their loss and not his. Once they booked a call with him, they were already pre-screened. This allowed him to filter out all of the potential clients that wasted his time, and actually allow him to focus on the true clients that would buy from him, freeing up a lot of his time to grow and scale his business, create more YouTube videos. Since using this top of funnel blueprint, he saved about 90% of his time that was getting wasted on low value tasks into more high value tasks. He was able to grow and scale his business. Now he's in the 7 figures. He's got 50,000 followers on YouTube. With artificial intelligence, you can use a lot of episodes as discovery tools. You're able to repeat this process faster and faster. The iteration process is more efficient, more streamlined. You can repurpose clips into a platform funnel. You can get guests with artificial intelligence. It's really streamlined and accelerated this process. Let's talk about the exact framework, how I teach physicians how to make $5,000 with 1,000 subscribers. The first thing is you want to start out with a problem. For doctors, a lot of problems are, how do I get out of healthcare? It could be, how do I start a coaching or consulting business? These are some of the common themes and questions that doctors struggle with. So that's your problem. What is your solution? Your solution is your high ticket offer. For example, I'm going to offer you a 1 month coaching mastermind. It could be private, it could be group. I recommend group because it's more scalable. You can get more people in at the same time. You can teach the same material or similar material to an audience of a lot of people as opposed to just one-on-one. It's more scalable. It could be a whole month of Q&A, presentations, live seminars, guest speakers. Make it as attractive and as high value as possible. If you're going to charge $5,000, make it perceive that they're getting $50,000 worth of value. You want to bundle it with access to private coaching, access to your products, your ebooks, courses, one-on-ones. Bundle it to make the perceived value much higher. Then you go onto social media and you market it as a webinar. So you're going to make a webinar, 45 minutes to an hour, where you are delivering high value information. And at the end of that webinar, you invite the people that are listening to join you in this high ticket offer. I'm going to show you exactly how to structure a webinar in later episodes. You want to make sure that they stay to the very end. You go on social media to market this. This takes around 2 hours, give or take 3 hours if you're first starting out. You can do this within a weekend. And that's how you want to structure your 5,000. I want to point out, for example, if you charge $5,000 for your high ticket offer, how many sales do you need? You just need one. So the higher ticket offer, the less sales you need. Ironically, you think that it's hard to get that one sale, but client quality will be so much better. For example, from the example of myself or Dave, the clients that pay more are usually better quality. Clients that pay less usually turn out to be a waste of your time. Think about it in terms of that way. How much is your time worth? The less you charge, if you charge $1,000, you have to make 5 sales. So that's a little bit harder. You want to use a simple funnel, YouTube, lead magnet. With artificial intelligence, it's so much easier, so much faster. This is the framework that I teach physicians how to make $5,000 with 1,000 subscribers. So if you're listening to this, again, at the very end, I have a special offer for you. Stay till the very end. Putting it all together, monetization on YouTube, it's not how you get paid, it's how people discover you. Become an authority, focus more on authority and expertise as opposed to virality. That's where the engine optimization is going. Ads and sponsors are great. They're icing on the cake. Focus on your high ticket offer, your own products and services, things that you control your intellectual property. Learn to use YouTube as a tool and don't let them use you. Own your ecosystem to scale. This will create income that is more predictable, reliable, robust, and disruption proof in this age of artificial intelligence. I mentioned I have a special offer for you for staying to the end. Email me at the website or at the email address above. Type in webinar 2026 YouTube funnels. We will allow you to bypass the podcast guest line as it's currently filled. We are offering a webinar on how to create those high ticket offers with just 1,000 subscribers in a single weekend. So if you're interested, I invite you to sign up for the webinar. The link is in the show notes below. Be sure to follow our podcast, connect with us, rate 5 stars, subscribe to our email list, and